Hey everyone, it is great to be with you today. It is September the 23rd on Read Through the Word, and we are outside recording. Just thought it would be fun to be outside, and you can see Maxie is enjoying sniffing around. So we are concluding our time in the Old Testament with a little bit of a rebuke. The people of Israel have backslidden. They have fallen away from God, and it's a great disappointment to God. You know it is. And he is giving his final word through the prophet Malachi, and then on to Joel as well. But I wanted to take our lesson today from one of the accusations that Malachi, the Lord, through Malachi, is accusing the people of Israel of. And it's one that really the Lord is dealing with me on. And it's honestly, it's just something that I've gotten slack about. And never have I gotten slack about it before. I've always been adamant about my tithe and making sure it's on at the right time and making sure it's down to the penny and making sure it's down to the tenth and I get it all right. Just from a long line of experiences with tithing and how God just continues to bless and multiplies the 90% when we give our 10%. And the Lord struck me, the Spirit struck me with this line: how should people cheat God? You have cheated me. And the people asked, but what do you mean? Why? When did we ever cheat you? You have cheated me out of the tithes and offerings due to me. All right. So a couple of things here. The tithe is indeed the 10% that that is due. Also, the tithe was actually ended up being more than 10%. It was a temple tax, or a temple gift, excuse me, that was taxed, and it was taxed again. And at one point, I believe I read a figure that it was up to like 26% is what it ended up being after gift and taxed and all of this. So it ended up being more than 10%. And I have always been under the idea that indeed we are to tithe 10%. That's what I've always tithed. And then give and beyond, we give beyond our tithes and our offerings that we give to our local church to support the ministries of the church. Well, I never realized that when Jesus, until recently, and then just studying for today's lesson, that when Christ came to fulfill the law, he fulfilled all the law. So when you study the entire law, he didn't come to abolish it, he came to fulfill it. I put some scriptures down there for you to support that. So when you read the New Testament, it doesn't say anything about tithing. And it doesn't say anything about a percentage, a specific amount. So this was an eye-opener to me in recent days, and over the last several months. This is something that's been coming up with me, to me, a lot in the recent days. And so I'm asked, okay, so then what are we supposed to tithe? Well, the tithe was commanded to the people of Israel through the law. When Jesus came to fulfill the law, he didn't fulfill parts of it, he fulfilled all of it. So in the New Testament, we are not commanded to tithe, we are commanded to give. Not only to give, but to give generously. Now, I'm not saying that we should not pay attention to the 10%. But we are not held to that. That commandment was not given to us. That law was not given to us. It was given to a certain people at a certain time, in which Jesus came and fulfilled that and removed that requirement of the law from us. However, we are not, we are still responsible and have the privilege to, give and give generously to care for the needs of those that are less fortunate and to care for the church. Paul talks about this in his letter to the Corinthian church. He writes them and thanks them for giving generously to the church and to the poor, to the church of Jerusalem, and to the poor and to the needy. And I put the scripture down there, and I don't expect, I don't have time to read through the entire scripture, but I want to make sure that you take a look at it. 2 Corinthians 9, 6 through 13 talks about giving, and it is giving generously, giving joyfully, and then lastly, give God the glory. Because he will make what seems a little that we're giving, we got to give what we can, give, and the people that gave, the Corinthians, they weren't wealthy people, but they gave anyways. And they gave, and God blessed them. And when we give, God is going to bless us. He's going to multiply the gift, and he is going to bless the giver. And I love, one of my favorite proverbs is Proverbs 11:25. The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. When we give to others, the Lord will give back to us. Even if it's only in that feeling of, wow, I helped someone. Or maybe we will find an unexpected check in our mailbox. Or we will get a bonus at work that we didn't have any idea that we were going to get. But what we have to be careful of is making sure that we don't rob God. One of the translations that I studied of this Malachi 3:8 verse talks about robbing God. Not just cheating God. Cheating's bad, but robbing God. We are being a thief, really, when we keep everything that we have and don't help the poor and the needy that need us in our community, our neighbors, especially the needs that our church support. So I just encourage you to sit back and take a look at your giving. What are you giving? Are you giving generously? Are you giving sparingly? Are you giving joyfully? Are you giving with a grudge? As you are, maybe it's your money, maybe it's time, maybe it's, what is it that you're giving? And are you giving God the glory? God, I don't know how I'm going to make up the difference. If I can make up the difference in what I'm giving and what I've got to be, what I'm responsible for, but I promise you, Lord, I'm going to give joyfully, and I'm going to give cheerfully, and I'm going to give you the glory. One of the ways that I've been challenged lately is to be a very generous tipper. And from a person that has not always been a tipper, this is challenging to me. I'm like, okay, 15%, 20%. And now it's not even a percentage of my bill. It is a dollar amount that he puts in my head. I I gave recently a tip that was much larger than my actual bill. I'm not saying that to brag on me. I'm saying that God is really challenging me with this whole idea of being generous and giving. Now, did I get that $20 back or $40 back in my account? No, it didn't come back in monetary blessing that I saw. Perhaps it did and I didn't see it. And maybe God's veiling my eyes from that. I don't know. But knowing that I helped put something in the pocket of this girl who, my server, who's trying to go to Liberty University to get her master's in counseling, and she's having trouble paying for it. So knowing, I've just prayed a blessing on it. God, I'm giving, this is hard to give right now for my family, but I'm praying you'll take this and that you will bless this and that you will put a spirit of blessing on her account and on her applications for loans, and that you will use her gift that you have given her and her calling to then change your kingdom. So how are you giving? And think about that today. I know that I've been challenged not to cheat God, but not to rob God. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow on Read Through the Word.